Boom. All right, what's going on, you guys? Royce Jacob here, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you about why I'm all in on Bitcoin. Okay, so I first want to preface this by saying that I'm not literally all in on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is currently about 40% of my net worth. If you guys watch my other videos, you'll know that I do have some equity short positions, precious metal positions, I have some cash. Um, but I just wanted to let you know that I'm not literally all in. That would be financially irresponsible in my mind if I was. But I'm going to talk to you about why I'm more fundamentally and mentally all in on Bitcoin right now. Okay, so over the course of the video, I'm going to kind of just run down first the topics we're going to go over, and then we'll dive a little more in depth into them, okay? So let's minimize myself and get down to business. Okay, so this is a Bitcoin price chart. We'll actually get to this last because I'm just going to give some very brief, almost technical analysis, just price action analysis. But yeah, we'll save that for the end, okay? So the first things we're going to go over the fundamentals. So Kudlow projects coronavirus aid package to reach roughly $6 trillion. That's in regards to the government pumping money into the economy, and Fed announces unlimited bond purchases, so that's kind of in the same vein. It's just about the government, how the government is currently injecting liquidity and trillions of dollars, U.S. dollars, into our economy because of this coronavirus crisis and the financial crisis, economic slowdown that we are currently in. Okay, so we'll go over that first, and then we'll go over the Bitcoin halving, which, if you're not familiar, is the supply of Bitcoin will be cut in half, or the reward to the miners will be cut in half in May, so about a month from now, in May of 2020, and we'll go over that a little more. But that is, in my mind, arguably one of the most important factors on why I'm personally bullish on Bitcoin right now. Then we're going to look at this stock to flow chart. So this is a chart that correlates the Bitcoin halvings to the price action that Bitcoin's seen over the years. So we'll just go over this real quick. That's just a cool little chart to show you, give you an idea of how price acts around those Bitcoin halvings that we're going to be talking about. And yeah, and then like I said, we'll go back to the Bitcoin price chart, and I'll just give you guys a little thoughts, some of the thoughts that are on my mind in regards to the price action. Okay, so first things first, let's go over this because this is super important right now. Yeah, again, the government is about to inject $6 trillion. This was just announced today into the U.S. economy. And I'll read out these first two paragraphs just because it kind of sums it up. White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow on Tuesday projected that the total economic stimulus to be enacted by the federal government will reach $6 trillion. Of the total, $4 trillion will come in the form of liquidity from the Fed, while the remaining $2 trillion will be part of a proposed Phase 3 legislation from Congress. If the total assistance does reach $6 trillion, that would be equal to about 30% of U.S. GDP. Okay, so 30% of U.S. gross domestic product. That is an insane number. That is staggering, okay? And the reason that this news makes me extremely bullish is because when the Fed injects money into the economy, that obviously devalues the dollar, right? And that will cause hyperinflation over time. Okay, so when the Fed, so that will kind of come over here. The Fed announces unlimited bond purchases. Again, you guys, the U.S. economy, the global economy at that, is at a complete standstill right now. As you know, everyone's quarantined. There's so much fear, so much going on right now. People are losing their jobs. It's extremely sad. And the Fed, and in collaboration with the government, is gonna print pretty much unlimited money. Like, I know they did announce that it was $6 trillion, which was just today, but that's a very almost unfathomable number. In terms, again, it's 30% of U.S. GDP. That's insane. Everything's slowed down, so I understand it. I get why they're doing it, and I feel like it is warranted. Again, restaurants, airlines, hotels, auto manufacturers, and so many other parts of the economy are at a standstill. And again, so many people are hurting right now, are having a hard time. So I completely, from an ethical and moral standpoint, I support the stimulus of the economy, and I do think that it is necessary. I think that is the right call to just stimulate the economy, give everyone money, get cash in hand, because people are hurting right now. They need cash to survive, to be honest. So again, from a moral standpoint, that is warranted. I agree with it, but from a long-term perspective, and in terms of the economy, that this has always been good. This is what I see as the flaw in the traditional financial system, is the fact that the Fed can just pump money into the economy, in turn, again, devaluing the dollar. And that's what we're kind of getting at when in the argument for Bitcoin. So the US dollar creates an inflationary environment where prices of things go up and the value of the dollar goes down. And Bitcoin is a deflationary asset, just because it's so scarce, similar to gold, in the sense that it's a store of value. It's scarce. It cannot just be created. It cannot just be like wished into the economy, pretty much. Okay, so yeah, I think that this specifically will be rocket fuel for Bitcoin, just because once right now we're in a liquidity crisis. So people just want money. All right, that's why we saw the price of stocks go down recently. That's why we saw the price of literally everything, gold and Bitcoin. The entire cryptocurrency market fell as well, because right now people are scared. They just want money, right? They need cash in hand in times like these, in times of crisis. And again, the Fed injecting this money is great. That is necessary. But once it catches up over the next month or so, and people realize that the dollar is getting devalued, they will flock to safe haven assets and store of value assets, hard money assets like Bitcoin and like gold, etc. And I do like gold too, but I feel like Bitcoin will far outperform gold in this kind of liquidity crisis, in this financial crisis overall that we're seeing right now. Okay, and this news, along with the Bitcoin halving, in my mind, creates the perfect storm, or almost, well, you know what I mean. The stars will align. Like, these two stars are aligning will be rocket fuel for Bitcoin again. So let's go over this. If you're not familiar, what is the halving? New Bitcoins enter circulation as block rewards produced by miners who use expensive electronic equipment to earn or mine them. Every 210,000 blocks, or roughly every 4 years, the total number of Bitcoin that miners can potentially win is halved. Okay, so to sum this up, if you guys aren't familiar with the halving, or this is kind of just Bitcoin blockchain 101. The way the Bitcoin blockchain is validated, so each you send Bitcoin to someone else, it's a payment, it's a transfer, whatever. Those need to be validated, and those are validated by the Bitcoin miners, who again use very expensive computers, equipment, processors to validate the blockchain and validate those transactions. And in exchange for validating those transactions, they get paid in Bitcoin. So that's a beautiful incentivization process. It incentivizes them to validate the blockchain, because they do get paid in Bitcoin. Okay, so every one of those blocks that they validate, or every batch of transactions that they validate, they get paid in Bitcoin, right? And every 4 years, the amount of Bitcoin they get for validating that block is cut in half. Okay, so a good way to imagine this is like gold mines. Okay, so gold and Bitcoin, both scarce assets. Imagine that every 4 years, 50% of all the gold mines on Earth just were forced to close down and never reopen. Okay, so that is what the Bitcoin halving is, and that was coded into the Bitcoin blockchain, and that will never change. So that makes Bitcoin the only finite, like, it has a finite cap on it. It is the scarcest asset, like the scarcest asset on the planet, because it has that capped supply. It will never exceed 18 million Bitcoin. There will never be more than 18 million Bitcoin in circulation. And this year, in May, the amount is getting cut in half from, where is that? So from the previous one in 2016, it was at 25. And then in 2020, sorry. In 2016, it reached 13. And then in this year, 2020, you're going to see it's going to go down to about 6. So I think it went from 13, it's going to get cut in half to 6.5. So that means there's going, the miners who validate the blockchain are going to be rewarded 6.5 instead of 13. And the reason that's good for Bitcoin is because that makes it that much scarcer. There's going to be that much less supply being pumped into the system, and that will cause a supply shock. Once people realize how much that will affect, just again, the circulating supply of Bitcoin, there will be far less Bitcoin to sell. Therefore, the buyers will have to pay more to the sellers, because it's a scarcer asset at that point. Okay, so that is these two, the Fed injecting trillions into the economy and the Bitcoin halving coming up, when you're pretty much putting the most inflationary environment together with a very scarce, very hard money, deflationary environment, it's really just going to open people's eyes, in my mind, to the beauty of Bitcoin as a technology and as a financial asset. And it is very appealing to keep your money in something like that, something that can't be inflated and can't be devalued over time, and something that's scarce, something that can't just be injected and printed again. So this is the Bitcoin stock to flow model. If you're familiar with the space at all, this is a very popular chart, but it's a very good chart. So what this is a chart that shows previous Bitcoin halvings, and so it's pretty much the halvings with an overlap of the price history and price action. So you can see here it starts in 2010 or 2009, the genesis of Bitcoin itself. And this area of the halvings are kind of sketchy, but we're just going to focus on these newer ones, okay? So this is the most, again, you can kind of see how it acts around these halvings. You see it, this first one in 2012. Right after the halving, literally, Bitcoin shot up and had its first bull run, okay? Our first big major bull run, I should say. We went, and then we'll skip to this one over here. This is a good example because, again, sometimes this halving chart isn't a precise chart, okay? It's not predicting the future. It's not a crystal ball or anything. It's just giving you a good idea of the stock to flow model. Again, because Bitcoin is such a scarce asset, it shows how when that supply shock actually hits, the price will go up. So there's never been a halving without the price going up before the next halving at any point in Bitcoin's history. I know it's a short history, but it's still telling. History is very telling when you're talking financials and economics. Okay, so you can see here after the 2016 halving, it took a year or so until we saw the 2017 bull run, which I'm sure you're familiar with, when Bitcoin hit $20,000. And yeah, it's gone down again, and this chart is the reason why you might see a lot of people expecting Bitcoin to reach 100,000 in value. Let's move my fat head out of the way real quick so you can see the numbers. So this chart is the reason why you'll see a lot of people predicting the value of Bitcoin hitting roughly 100K by like mid 2021. Or is that exactly? It's about May 2021. So literally a year after this halving is when this model is expecting Bitcoin to peak, which I wouldn't be surprised with. And again, because of the current economic environment and this crisis we're going through, liquidity crisis, the injection of trillions of dollars into our economy, and the devaluation of the US dollar, I wouldn't be surprised personally if it's faster than that. Again, it could very well not be. No one knows the future. No one can tell where this is going. But I am very confident, and again, that's why I am all in a sense. And I just wanted to give you guys this information if you might be newer to the space, or if you're thinking about buying. I know it is becoming a popular topic again, and that's awesome that this technology, and it truly is a revolutionary technology and just complete industry. Like, this is groundbreaking in my mind and many others' minds, and that's awesome that it's catching traction again, and people are looking to it and really appreciating it for the value it has, and again, just the beauty of the design. It's such a well-designed product, and again, it can provide crazy returns and will, in my mind, not investment advice, do your own research, do more research, but in my mind, this will perform extremely well over the mid to long term. For sure long term, maybe mid term, maybe even short term. Again, no one knows. I just want to let you know that, actually, let's go back. We'll finish off with this price chart. We'll finish off just by talking about like recent price action, okay? So as you can see here, this starts at 2020. And from the beginning of 2020, we had a great rally in Bitcoin, okay? We had a rough end of 2019. Went down to just under $7,000. We rallied to 10.5K over the course of 2020, and then again, as this global crisis, as the virus is, caused this economic global crisis, we've seen prices in all assets, gold, Bitcoin, everything has fallen. especially equities. Traditional markets have tanked, as did Bitcoin. Again, this was that 50% price drop we saw in a single day, the craziest day in all of Bitcoin history. Not literally, but definitely the highest price value drop in Bitcoin history. So that's a day to remember. Again, that's because of the liquidity crisis. People just want money in hand. People are hurting. They need the money. That's why these weak hands sold their Bitcoin. And then maybe cause some other people to sell Bitcoin too, just to cover their positions. Okay, so we went from $8,000 down to $4,000. Okay, and that's disregard that. But the important part of this, and what is so important to me, is how fast this bounced back. So this went from $3,900 to $7,000. It's at just about 66 now. So that bounced back 100%. That doubled in the course of 2 weeks. Okay, so that is outpacing traditional markets. That's outpacing the comeback, the bounce back of any traditional asset. Okay, so I think year to date, so from the beginning of 2020, Bitcoin is up like 5%. Traditional markets, the S&P, the Dow Jones, those are down 30%. So it's just showing that more people, again, are realizing the potential of this as a store of value, safe haven, even returning, like a profit returning asset. And yeah, that's why I think it's great to see this bounce. It's very powerful in terms of consumer sentiment, and a lot of retail investors are getting interested. This is, again, this isn't extremely technical analysis. This is just good news. Like the fact that such a volatile, such an untraditional, almost scary asset to most is performing this way during such scary times, and that is very bullish to me. Again, this isn't any crazy TA or technical analysis. It's just looking at the chart, just knowing that it's not crashing. It's not crashing with everything else any further. So again, the weekends have been shaken out in this huge correction, in this massive correction, and I think now we're going to see an accumulation phase again. And again, when more people are educating themselves, and it's great that they're opening their eyes to this new revolutionary tech, that more people will flock to it. Again, because they see the true value in it, and because they realize their dollar is being absolutely devalued because trillions are being pumped into the economy. Okay, so if you guys have any questions at all about this, sorry I rambled on a little bit, but if you guys have any questions at all about this, or if you're new to the space, or if you're in the space and just want to talk shop, please feel free to hit me up down in the comments. I'll respond to all of them. I don't get too many, so it makes it easy on me, but always love talking shop with you guys, and always love educating you guys if you're newer to the space again. So one more thing I actually wanted to show you guys, that I just got this first shipment of bullish merchant. Okay, so if you guys don't know, I'm sure you don't, I don't know why I expect you to, I actually come from I owned a small apparel company for the past few years, and that's actually why that's actually the first like chunk of change I got that allowed me to invest it, and it did get me into investing. So I have a previous passion for apparel design. I still love doing it, but I'm far more passionate about investing in the financial markets these days. So I figured, why not marry the two in something that I'm super passionate, and just a collection that I'm stoked about. Stoked on this collection. So it's called Bullish. Bullish equals optimistic. If you're not familiar, that's a very traditional like market trader term. If you're bullish, that means you're optimistic. And right now, I could not be more bullish on Bitcoin. I know it's kind of hard in hard times like these to maybe feel bullish. But again, bullish is a lifestyle, bullish is a way of thinking, and bullish is optimism pretty much. And I also got this mug that I want to show you guys. I'm super stoked on this thing as well. So it's a little bull mug. Factually, makes everything taste better. That's good matcha. And drink matcha, guys. Stay healthy right now. It's very important. Matcha specifically, very high in polyphenols and antioxidants, vitamin C and whatnot. Okay, so I'll link down to this collection in the description. It's a newer collection. I just designed some stuff that I thought was cool. There's some stickers, mugs, hats, t-shirts. It's definitely focused around crypto. I'll probably add other asset classes in there, like precious metals, maybe some specific stocks and companies that I'm interested in. But right now it's crypto. Crypto is my first love. Crypto is my primary love. So that's why I'm focusing this collection around more cryptocurrency. So yeah, again, stickers, whatever, go check it out. It's a good way to support the content I make and the channel. If you do pick any of this up, and you get some sick shit out of it as well if you do. So it's a win-win situation in that sense. And yeah, I appreciate it if you checked it out. Just a little PSA again: be healthy. Do your best to focus on mental health around these times, you guys. There are bright times ahead. It may seem kind of dreary right now, but times will get better. Be nice to people. Be nice to your peers. There are people, again, because well, the reason the Fed injection and the trillions of dollars being pumped into the economy is so warranted is because there are people really hurting out there, and you never know who's hurting and who's really struggling right now, because there are people struggling. So just be nice to each other, you guys. Be happy. Focus on your mental health again. That's so key. Crucial in performance too. The happier you are, the better your brain's working, the better health you'll be in. So again, be bullish, you guys. Stay optimistic. Make waves in these markets, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, peace. Ooh, there we go.